Welcome to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we're going to be looking at some updates in the double homicide of Kylen Schulte and Crystal Beck. I'm going to play the Gabby Petito intro now because it's kind of starting to connect with the Gabby Petito case in some way, and I'll explain that in a minute. So let's get started. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you are new here, then I hope that at some point during this video, you'll consider subscribing and becoming part of the Grizzlies. And if you're already a Grizzly, then welcome back. It's always nice to see you. I just want to add to that intro that, of course, we absolutely want justice for Kylen and Crystal. To me, it's absolutely bizarre. That case is unsolved too. I mean, oh man, we want justice for Gabby, we want justice for Kylen and Crystal, and of course all the cases that we cover. It's just this case, oh man, it grips me. So Kylen Schulte was 24 and her wife was 38, right? Crystal, she's often referred to as Crystal Turner, but I saw on her obituary, which I shared before, she's listed as Crystal Beck. Now they were last seen alive leaving Woody's Tavern in downtown Moab around 10 p.m. on August 13th. An acquaintance found the remains at the mountaintop campsite 5 days later, and both had been shot to death and were partially unclothed. They were camping on a road known as FR 4651, which was near a wedding venue where there were guests in attendance of this wedding. No one heard gunshots, allegedly. Apparently, the PI, the private investigator in this case, Jason Jensen, who we're going to look at in a moment, his latest clip, which is what's made me make this video, he was saying that they may actually now have satellite imagery of a suspect or suspects, but they can't release that to the public. And I'm like, ooh, what is it? Like, what can we see? Oh my word, can you just imagine? So Jensen said a tip line set up by the father of one of the victims, Sean Paul Schulte, garnered dozens of tips and about 17 names are on his radar. He's working to narrow down that list to find a potential suspect or person of interest. So he's still asking for people to please come forward if they were in the area between the 11th and the 15th of August with dash cam footage, with any camera footage, with any surveillance footage, something that can help them. Now, let us quickly look at this latest clip here. Okay, I want to show you this. So on the right-hand side, this is an excerpt from Court TV. On the right-hand side, we have Jason Jensen, the private investigator in this case. And on the top there is a picture of Kylen and Crystal.
And first start with the latest. Have there been any updates, any new information revealed in this case?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Vinny, we could literally have an hour-long special on this case alone with all the updates, but I'll try and be brief.
I wish we could have an hour-long special with all the updates.
We certainly haven't gotten narrowed down to any real suspects yet. We're still hoping that the public will help by sharing any dash cam video or any footage that they may have who were visiting the area between the 11th of August through the 15th of August. But as far as updates go, it's amazing that we've learned since all this that Kylen and Crystal actually observed Gabby and Brian Laundrie in their fight in front of the...
Did you hear that? It has been confirmed that Kylen and Crystal, it's Crystal on the left, by the way, on the picture, and Kylen on the right, are actually observed Gabby and Brian's fight on August 12th outside the Moonflower Co-op. This is something that most of us, have speculated for the longest time. In fact, when I started covering the Gabby Petito case, and then I covered their case as well, I speculated that Gabby and Brian very likely saw them at Woody's Tavern. And everyone thought I was crazy. They're like, no, they wouldn't be there because they don't drink. They already said they don't drink. Why would they be there? Because of Brian's predatory rage, which we've now come to know. Oh my word. Now, not only in the last week or so has it been confirmed that Kylen and Crystal observed Brian and Gabby fighting outside of the Moonflower Co-op where Kylen worked. So they did cross paths. That's been confirmed now. But it's also been, this one, I don't know if it's confirmed. I've seen a lot of articles and clips, but I want credible, like this to me is credible information. It's coming straight from the PI. But it's been confirmed that Gabby and Brian actually played pool at Woody's Tavern on August 13th. And some even say played pool with Kylen and Crystal. Can you imagine the chit-chat? Can you imagine Brian being like, so, were you guys camping, huh? Oh, LaSalle Mount, yeah, we know that. Whispering Oaks Lodge, oh, okay. Oh, my word. And what if Brian really did get extremely jealous of maybe Gabby bonding with Kylen and Crystal? Same way he used to get really jealous with Gabby bonding with Rose, according to Rose. Okay, so let's watch the rest of this clip and then we'll speculate some more.
Moonflower Co-op that day, August 12th, when they were in Moab.
Wow. Let me ask you this, because some people have very quickly tried to dismiss any connection between the two cases, and I don't think anything should be dismissed until you've solved the case. But we know that Brian Laundrie apparently took his life with a gun. Has there been any comparison of the ballistics of the gun used by Brian Laundrie to take his own life and the gun that was used to take the lives of Kylen and Crystal?
We sure hope so. Nothing like that has been shared with us or the family, so we don't know. But clearly, you're right. Brian Laundrie took his life with most likely a handgun. We'd like to know the caliber of that as well. We do know, and it's been publicly shared, that Kylen and Crystal were murdered with a 9mm handgun. So if there's any similarities in the type of gun used, that could either rule him in or rule him out as a possible suspect here. We'd like to know that because we'd like to move forward if Brian Laundrie is not responsible for this double murder.
Wow. Okay. What do you think of that? Oh my word. So, if for those of you who aren't aware, my word, where have you been? Remember that Gabby and Brian was stopped by the police because two witnesses who had seen them fighting called 911, which got the police chasing after them. Brian was driving at triple the speed limit. He hit a curb and they stopped. And then we got to see all that body cam footage. I really think that's a huge part of what gripped us all so much in this case. Oftentimes I sit and I think, what were all the elements of this case going so viral and gripping international attention, all of us? And there's so many key elements, right? One of them being the body cam footage that we saw. Gabby in that absolutely distraught state, apologizing for Brian. And then ending up murdered by the end of the month. I mean, that is just so scary, like 15 days later or so. That is a scary thought. Also, side note, I do believe that the Moab police are being looked into for allegedly not following protocol, especially not with the body cam, the way they were using the body cams, the language they were using, things like that. They are being looked into, and as soon as more information is released, I will share that with you. But think about this. If you put yourself in Brian Laundrie's shoes for a minute, oh yeah, he didn't like shoes, sorry. If you put yourself in his dirty bare feet for a minute, then think about how angry he would have been because he sure apologized for, I'm so sorry that this went public. I'm sorry for speeding. I'm sorry that this went so public. He wasn't sorry for scratching Gabby's face. He wasn't sorry for fighting like that with his girlfriend. he was just sorry for speeding and that this all went so public. And then he was just such a happy boy when he got taken to a motel. Oh my word. Anyway, point is that rage, as much as he was playing the nice guy, must have manifested in him. I mean, speculatively, he's Gabby's killer, right? That's what we speculate. I know it's still to be confirmed, but that's what we speculate. So if he is, we obviously know he's got a rage problem. We also know he was fighting outside the Moonflower Co-op on August 12th, and then outside the inside and outside the Merry Piglet's Tex-Mex restaurant, which now the restaurant says, no, they weren't fighting, but original reports and Nina, the witness, said they were fighting. Brian was angry in public, so he's got a rage problem, right? So if he's like, oh, so Mr. Nice Guy with the police, can you imagine inside his mind, he's like, oh man, who are those witnesses? And when the police officers told Gabby, no, well, there were 2 witnesses, so no, we can't just like let you just walk away with no records or anything like that. It's like there were 2 witnesses that called us in. She like literally was like, oh no. She was really, really upset with that. She looked devastated when they said that, which is interesting because maybe she was so devastated because she's like, oh no, like she knows Brian will not handle this well at all. So to think that in his mind, he was probably like, oh, so there were 2 witnesses, huh? And he very likely, speculatively, I've got my spectacles on, okay, saw Kylen and Crystal that day outside the Moonflower Co-op where he was fighting, and they were just like watching, like, what in the hell's going on there? He might have just concluded it was them. It was them that called this in. He wouldn't have thought, sorry for being a bit snarky, but in his pea brain, he wouldn't have thought that other people actually noticed and called in. No, he's just like, those 2, I know who called in. Huh? And then what does he do? Okay, I don't know what they did on the 12th, but on the 13th, they were allegedly hanging out at Woody's Tavern, shooting some pool, real casual, in a bar, a sports bar where, they don't drink. No plastic bottles for me. He doesn't even drink water. No plastic bottles, thank you very much. But now you're in Woody's Tavern. Okay, playing pool. Interesting. I think he was definitely there to confront Kylen and Crystal. Make some small talk and confront. Maybe even tell them, you need to apologize for doing this. And maybe they were like, screw you. Like, we're not going to apologize. Like, what the hell? So, if he was that angry, imagine the small talk of like, where are you guys? Where are you camping? What you doing? What you up to? You also live the van life, huh? And if they said, oh, they're right by the Whispering Oaks Lodge. We're camping there for the night. We've got our little rabbit there. We're going back there tonight. Interesting. It's also interesting that Kylen's dad, Sean Paul Schulte, has said that Kylen described Brian, literally, this is what I read, described Brian as creepy. So in his mind, he's thinking, she's described Brian as creepy, and then she's described to her friends that a creepy guy is hanging out by the campsite. That is interesting. It might not be the same person she's describing, but it's interesting. Imagine if it just really is that obvious, that it like literally is creepy man playing pool and chit-chatting and stalking them, and then creepy man at the campsite. Even creepy man at the campsite by himself on the 12th, huh? Or with Gabby, I don't know. He could have told Gabby to stay in the motel and he took the van. I've speculated this before. Either way, when they're like, whoa, there's this creepy man sleeping in a hammock, isn't that what they said? Allegedly. Right by the campsite. That could have happened on the 12th. And then on the 13th, there he is, another creepy dude, the same creepy dude, playing pool with them. I'm just speculating. That's interesting too. And then the August 13th, that night, Woody's Tavern. That's the last time they're seen alive? And when their bodies are found on August 18th, they'd been shot to death. They were partially dressed and they'd been murdered with a 9mm handgun. Now, if we think of the body cam footage when Brian was like the whole time like this, like, oh my word, like looking behind him the whole time, I think my speculation has always been that he was so nervous of the police going into the van and finding a gun. Maybe a gun that he wasn't supposed to have or wasn't licensed to have, or just having a gun. He just looked so freaking nervous. And when that female park ranger was like, Gabby's looking for a phone, he's like, I will get it for you because it's in a special compartment. I'll walk you there. And she's like, where are we going in the car? Where are we going in the car? And he's like walking there with his flip-flops. I'll show you. So I just think the timeline is getting stronger when it comes to Brian's possible speculative involvement in the murders of Kylen and Crystal. And that could have really escalated all the tension between him and Gabby, and it could have resulted in him strangling her because he knew that she knew. Do you know what I mean? Could be. I know many of you think like this. You've emailed me, you've commented, so I'm not the only one. But at first, when I speculated this, like literally when I first started covering the Gabby Petito case and then this case of Kylen and Crystal, these are the things I speculated, but at that point it was just like too far-fetched, you know? But really it's becoming not so far-fetched at all anymore. Like it really seems like he could be involved in their murders. Can you imagine that? Now if they do find that notebook, I know there's an article, again it's from The Sun, that is not, The Sun is not a credible source of information. I'm sorry to tell you that. But The Sun has gone and said that the $20,000 in Brian Laundrie's bank account, they say that the parents became aware of this money from the notebook. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know what to think about that. What? I don't know. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just like, I don't know about that. I'll have to find a more credible source before I talk about something really like that. What else? I want to tell you something else. What is it? I don't want to miss it. Focus. That's how I talk to myself in the day. Focus. I wanted to show you that today, actually for New Year's, so 18 hours ago, Joseph Petito, Gabby's dad, actually released one of those, what do you call them? It's like a fire lantern. Shame. That was so beautiful. He said, Happy New Year, Gabby. Keep touching the world. I'll show you now.
For you, Gabby.
Happy New Year, Gabby. To the heavens.
It's so sweet, right? Oh my word. Yes. If you have more information that I haven't yet covered today, please let me know. But seeing the PI say that was like, whoa. So they saw the fight and they were at Woody's Tavern? No. To me, it's like becoming a little bit of 1 + 1 = 2. Because it's just so likely that Brian would do that. It is so likely. Now, them being found half-dressed, they could have already been half-dressed in their tent when maybe they were attacked. But speculatively, just according to all the rumors that are out there, Gabby was also found half-dressed. So that's very interesting. Because that side of Brian, I don't know. Of course I don't know. I don't feel any, it feels weird to say this, but I'm very sensitive to energy, right? And I don't feel any like sexual energy from him. I'm just like, I don't know what his sexuality is like or how he expresses that. Of course, we know it's friggin' most of his art and mind and Pinterest and Instagram was very like dark and serial killery. And he read books all about serial killers. So, wow, this would make him a serial killer. This would make him, because he murdered, speculatively then, 2 women on August 13th or 14th, and another woman, his fiancée, on August roughly 27th. So that means there was a cool-off period, and by definition then he would be a serial killer. Can you imagine if it turns out that he actually murdered some other people along the way home, on their drive home? That would be so hectic, oh my word. Very likely not. That might be too far, but you just never know. But let me know in the comments below what you think. I would love to know what you think. Of course, there'll be some of you out there being like, this is not even a story. Why are you still covering this? They are dead. Just leave it alone. No, there's no justice for Gabby, for Kylen, or for Crystal. No justice whatsoever yet. The killers have not even been named. And if it turns out to be the same person, oh my word. No, no, no. No, no, no. This channel, we're about justice for the victims. And we do not let the story go just to say, shh, stop it. Stop talking about it. How many clicks do you need? As many as it will take to get justice. Like, I will keep covering it because I would do this anyway, whether I had a YouTube channel or not. That's the thing. I was doing this anyway before I had a YouTube channel. I've only had a YouTube channel for 6 months out of my 37, almost 38 years on Earth. 6 months. Always loved true crime. My father was a police officer. I've always loved true crime. Always been investigating things, you know, sleuthing, as they say. And so I would do it with or without a YouTube channel. So, man, it just bugs me. It keeps me up at night. I dream about it. I think about it. I mean, the Delphi case. Hello. Never going to stop covering that. No, 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 no. Because until there's justice for Abby and Libby. It is so ridiculous. In the Delphi case, they have audio. They have video. They have alleged signatures. They have supposed DNA and a smeared fingerprint. And they have no suspect? They can't catch this guy? What? Oh, my word. So, yeah, I'm actually... This is the thing. I'm a true crimer just like you. Even though I'm a content creator and I'm sitting here on the other side of the camera, here I am. Just 6 months ago, I was exactly like you, watching all the content. And you know, some days when I'm a little quiet now, yes, I'm deep diving for a large portion of the day. But another portion of the day is consuming the content that I used to love to consume. I also have favorite true crime channels that I watch all the time. And in the time that I covered the Gabby Petito case, I didn't watch any content. I just made content. That's all I did. Because there was so much news all the time, every hour, every day. It was like, oh my word, as soon as you cover something, something else happened. You're like, what? Oh my word. So, yes, I kind of neglected my love of true crime, of just consuming true crime content and deep diving things that also interest me. I mean, I'm covering all these cases and they definitely interest me. But there's many cases that interest me, and I try to deep dive in all of that. You know, I've got a very busy mind with true crime. It's weird to say, but I think a lot of you resonate with this. It keeps me sane, gives my life structure, makes me feel like there's some purpose in what I do. And all of us, I believe, are curious by nature. And all of us, I believe, have some trauma, right? So we connect. This is what this community is all about. We connect on the same interests. We connect on the same type of minds. And I'm so grateful to have all of you here. My goodness. So yeah, thank you so, so much. I'm waffling quite a bit tonight, aren't I? Or today, whatever time it is for you. Happy New Year. I am waffling quite a bit. Yes. Anyway, so I will end my video there. Thank you so, so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm very much like, what? And as you know, some of you have asked, how do I cover like multiple cases at once? And some of you even say, you don't like, you personally can only tolerate or handle like, one case at a time. And that's okay, because if this is the case that you're wanting to consume, just know, I'm still going to cover it. I'm covering Kylen and Crystal's case, Daniel Robinson's case, Gabby Petito, and everything that Brian Laundrie was all the factors surrounding him. Oh my word. And his parents. What? Like, why hasn't Cassie spoken? Where is she? Can someone go interview her and ask her questions? Even just like, I know it sounds a bit invasive, but like, how do you feel now? Like, what happened? What do you think? Is this the outcome you thought could happen? Like, what? Where did the $20,000 come from? Isn't it her actually that said about the granny that left an inheritance? Maybe. Anyway, but so I'm covering all of those I just mentioned. Then, of course, the Delphi case. And then, as you saw the other day, I covered the serial killer that was just caught. That was a real estate agent walking around murdering homeless people. Like, who does that? Oh, my word. Summer Wells. I'm, of course, covering that too, here and there, very delicately, because that is a very interesting community surrounding the Summer Wells case. You got to be very careful. Just like stepping in, as a newbie on the case, just like walk in and start talking. No. With respect, with delicacy, we enter and we cover with a fresh pair of eyes what we think is relevant to you, the viewer. What is relevant? What can help This channel is not built on spreading gossip and drama and fighting with other people. No, 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 no. No, no. Clear, cool, calm. It's a Zen true crime space, isn't it? Where we focus on the case. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you like the way that I present true crime, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed and you feel like you might want to, do it now. Do it now. I'm sure you'll love this community. Just read the comments and decide for yourself. I think it's a fantastic community. I'm so proud to be part of it. And what else can I say? Yeah, leave your comments below. I'd love to read what you think. Anything else that I could say? No, not for now. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.